My grunge band reunited after 20 years. And here's what happened. Hello, everybody, and welcome once again. My name is Jack, and if the algorithm found you, you are a fan of grunge music. My band is called Mera. You can find all of our stuff right here on this YouTube channel or wherever you stream your music. And if you are interested in getting a free Mera sticker, just give me a shout on any of my social media. Of course, right here on YouTube as well. It's a free gift. It's just me saying thank you because I really do appreciate all the support that everyone's shown me. It really means the world to me. You know, Kurt Cobain and Nirvana had such a huge influence on my life to the point where I picked up all of my belongings and I moved to Seattle. That's right. I lived on the East Coast. I'm from Baltimore. And I moved to Seattle because that's where I thought I needed to be. That's where Sub Pop was. That's where the music that I loved was coming from, the Pacific Northwest. All these bands were coming out of there that were just igniting my passion for music. So I moved to Seattle in 1996. And this is the story. Well, I mean, first of all, like, who am I? Like, why should you guys listen to me, right? Like, I'm out here kind of, I don't know, not really giving advice, but just sort of giving my point of view on things. And sometimes, you know, I get a lot of messages sometimes of like, why should we listen to you? Who are you? Like, you're not anybody. Did you succeed, or you know what? And I'm just going to tell you what I have done, the things that I have achieved in life, and where I'm coming from. You know, everything I say on this channel, you know, it's certainly my opinion. You don't have to listen to everything I say. You certainly don't have to take it to heart. I'm going to ask you to, you know, use your discernment and what resonates with you, and take that with you, and the rest you can throw away. But everything I say on this channel is based on something, either my life experience, or in the instance of a lot of stuff that I say here on this channel, it's based on books. Like, I read books, and, you know, it's either based on, you know, Julia Cameron, The Artist's Way. I quote this book all the time because there's so much wisdom in this book. Or Elizabeth Gilbert, Big Magic. I was talking about her a week ago, and I was talking about, you know, done is better than good. That all came from this book. And then, of course, you know, some of all the stuff, a lot of the Nirvana stuff that I talk about, it can come from this book right here. Danny Goldberg, Serve the Servant. You know, he was Nirvana's manager. Who has a better insight on Nirvana? So there's a lot of books, you know, that are around, that are great resources for the things that I'm talking about here. But nothing beats experience. Nothing beats actually doing it. And I was there. I was in Seattle. I was in a band. We were called Severna Park. Not everybody remembers us, but a lot of people do. And to let you know a little bit about, you know, where we stand in sort of the pantheon of Seattle music, this book is called Loser. It's by Clark Humphrey. And, you know, they sell this at the Sub Pop Mega Mart in Seattle. This is a book that really, I mean, it goes through everything, the entire Seattle scene. It starts all the way back with the Sonics and the Wipers, and going through all the bands that came out of the Pacific just not just Seattle, but the Pacific Northwest in general. And you go through this book, you know, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Mudhoney, everybody's in here. But just, you know, just so you know, on page 213, right before Slater-Kinney, is my band, Severna Park, right here. You know, Jack, named for singer-guitarist Jack Durakis' Maryland hometown, formed by Durakis and Fred Northup. And the K Records catalog described us as power pop that eats its young. Okay, so we're in this book. All right, we achieved an amount of notoriety that got us remembered, in this historical document. Now, I'm not bragging here. If it seems like I'm bragging, I'm just letting you know where I'm coming from. I have experience, and I was out there doing it and working in Seattle, and it was in a working band, and we got signed to a record label, and we put out various different releases, and I want to share with you that experience. Now, what is the Severna Park story? Well, we had quite a bit of success in the 4 years that we were in Seattle. We opened for lots of bands. We played with Modest Mouse when they were kind of nobody in front of like 20 or 30 or 40 people. And then we played with Modest Mouse in front of thousands of people. We played with Death Cab for Cutie. We played with Rocket from the Crypt. We opened for all the bands that came through Seattle, and then we went on tour as well. We went to Germany, we went down the West Coast, and we had a nice little run. We had fans, and then it came to an end right around 1999, 2000. Not because we weren't succeeding, we were doing really well. It came to an end because there were just disagreements and personality clashes between the band members and I. And it was nothing that ended our friendships. It just ended that run of our band. And ultimately, that decision came down to me. I was the lead singer. I was the main songwriter. The decision came down to me. And I want everyone to know that if you're wondering if it's something I regret, it is. It is. I regret doing that. Sometimes you make decisions when you're younger and they're impulsive, and you're doing what you think is the right thing. But, when you look back and hindsight is 2020, I really regret it, because I undid all the work that I had. It's so hard to get to that point, to be a working band, and then to break up, and then I left Seattle as well. I regret it. I'd like to know what would have happened had we stayed together, a little bit longer. And, being a little bit older and a little bit more mature, would I go back and change that decision? Yes, I would. Can I do that? Absolutely not. But I'll tell you what I do have. I have a 30-year friendship with my other 3 band members and our roadie. And I cherish that very much. And I am so grateful that we had the opportunity to reunite. We were that remembered. Our good friends in Sicko, Ian Hernandez, and the band Sicko, who predate Severna Park by many, many years. They're much more legendary. They are legends in Seattle. They put together what's called the Seattle Pop Punk Festival. And this year they asked us to reunite. Last year they asked my friends Dirt Bike Annie. So this year we had a reunion show. And it was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had. We came back and our fans remembered us. There were people at this show. They brought set lists from the 90s that we had signed and stuff. They remembered us like it was yesterday. And we played a great show. When we got in the rehearsal room, we had to rehearse, right? We hadn't played in 20 years. It was like falling off a bike, right? You just get back on and you remember immediately what to do. And we sounded pretty good. We put on what I thought was a very fun and energetic show. We were never a perfect band. We were never Sunny Day Real Estate. We were never super tight. You know what I mean? But we put on a really fun show. Our songs are catchy, and most importantly, our friends were there. Our family was there. I had friends who came from Los Angeles and San Diego. My friend Dan, who's in Dirt Bike Annie, and Jeannie, who is in Dirt Bike Annie, they both came to see the show. Dan helps me engineer and produce Mera, and Jeannie is the original bass player of Severna Park, and they were there. My friend Molly, who booked us a show with Juliana Hatfield, she was there. parents were there, old friends were there. It was beyond amazing. It was one of the most rewarding experiences, right there at Slim's Last Chance in Ballard. And I just, if there's one thing I would say, to anyone out there, if you're in a band right now, really cherish that relationship that you have. Really appreciate it, because it's a lot of work for 3, 4, 5, 6 people to be together and unified in one passionate project, one plan, one force. Like 5 fingers coming together to make a fist. That's hard work. Appreciate that. And I mean, I'm not saying there's no reason to break up a band. There's plenty of reasons to do it. But just think about it, because it's something special. And I would say don't do it. Don't do it. Take a hiatus, take a break maybe, but don't break up. Because what it all comes down to is, at the end of the day, what do you want? What do you want to remember? Don't you want to remember experiences? Don't you want to remember friendships? At the end of the day, don't you want to remember how hard everybody worked and how proud you are of the work you did? You can go your whole life and regret things or be mad at people, but at the end of the day, right? I mean, I don't want to get morbid here, but you know what I mean? When you're getting older in your years, you're going to want to sit back and you're going to think, you're going to say, you know what? I'm really, really glad I have these memories. I'm glad I still have these people in my life. I'm really grateful for it. I know I am. I'm grateful to have these people in my life, to have these friendships, and, leave the door open. We might play again. And, to bring this all back around to Kurt Cobain and Nirvana, we don't have Kurt Cobain anymore. We don't have Nirvana anymore. But we do have Dave Grohl. We do. And it's like Dave Grohl says on that first Foo Fighters record, I'll stick around. Because that's what Dave did. Dave stuck around. And boy, did he stick around. The Foo Fighters have been around for 30 years. He stuck around. He appreciated, he knew he had a good thing, and he stuck with it. And we still have the Foo Fighters to this day. And speaking of sticking around, if you want to stick around here on my channel and check out some of my music, once again, we're called Mera. We have a single out right now, Burning Sea. And thank you all very much for all your support. I appreciate it. I love you. So I want all of you to go forth in grace and gratitude. And I want you to show the world how great you are. Because I know you're great. I know it's inside of you. And the world's waiting to hear your music, whatever that is. I'll see you next time, everybody. Bye-bye.